the truth is, if you want to control a society, you need to control the men, because it's men which riot and cause revolutions. It's men which can fight. It's men which can really make serious change. I mean, women can scream and complain, but they can be largely ignored. But when men start to riot, you have problems. So how do you avoid that? Well, you make sure the men don't have enough will or enough gumption to put up to resist the absolute shit show they're being forced to put up with. Because the truth is, life for 99% of men in the Western world is awful. And most of them know it, and most of them feel it. And still they will continue to pay their taxes and go to their job and sit inside of their sexless marriage because they've lost their will to resist. And this is done very specifically. This is done on purpose. It's not an accident. Because otherwise people would stand up and say, wait. What? The price of everything's doubled in the last 10 years. My wages are the same. What's going on? But no one does. So it's a very conscious effort to damage the psyche and the fighting spirit of masculine men. Absolutely. Truly believe we live in a matriarchal society in the West. Now, I no longer live in the West. I live in Romania, the far end of the European Union. It's like a strange place to kind of live, but I really like it here. But when I go back to the West, I realize just how matriarchal the society is. There's a lot of people on Twitter, I'm quite big on Twitter, and there's guys in the red pill space and the right-wing space who always talk about patriarchy and how they're going to establish a patriarchal household and all this stuff. And I try and explain, the laws in Western countries prevent you from ever being a patriarch. If your woman at any point decides to lie and say you hit her, or to say you raped her, or a girl you're sleeping with, he raped me. I had sex with him consensually 9 times, but the 10th time I was drunk and it was rape. Right. And the law, they will come and arrest you. Yeah. How can you be a patriarch in a matriarchal society where females have the entire power of the law to destroy you at will? You can't. So the truth is, the reason most men act the way they do is because they know that if push comes to shove, the entire force of the legal system will always side with the female. So why does the man come home after working a long 10, 11 hours in the coal mine, ask for a cup of coffee, his woman tell him to fuck off, continue to have no sex for 3-4 years, his kids don't respect him, he's semi-depressed, nearly suicidal, but he doesn't get a divorce? Well, we know why. Because what's the option? You're going to lose the house, you're going to lose the kids, you're going to be stuck paying for her bills and allowing her to go on endless dates. You're out the game, because it's extremely difficult to find a mate nowadays unless you're a top tier male. So what choice do you have? It's a matriarchal society. Females have all the power in the West. So like any society, if you're the class which is attacked or the class which is ostracized, which men are, you're going to lose your fighting spirit. You're just going to think, well, the best way to survive is just to be nice to everybody. I'm just nice. Do. And that's what's happened. Because there really is, unless you have that spark, unless you have what it takes to truly build a life which is unique and build a life which puts you beyond the controls of these enforcement mechanisms, then the safest way to live is to be a simp. It's not easy to be like me and run my mouth. I've lived the consequences of talking. I know what can happen. And I'm sure you've been there too with the shit on Twitter and blah, blah. Most people can't put up with this. My biggest ever outrage is when, this was about 4 years ago, is when I was still verified on Twitter before I got banned. And I said depression wasn't real. And I know that's like a really controversial take. And my point was very simple. My point is that depression is a natural instinct inside of men. And it's something that is designed to show you that you need to change something about your life. If you go to jail and you're depressed, it's not because you've caught depression, it's because you're in jail. This is why. So if you feel depressed, you need to wake up and go, well, why am I depressed? And how can I change this? I had people message me saying, you don't understand how it feels. I'm fat and I can't get a girlfriend because I'm depressed. I said, no, you're depressed because you're fat and you can't get a girlfriend. Right. You got it the wrong way around. So when I said depression wasn't a clinical disease and it's simply the result of not living a life that you truly enjoy and you're not happy with, it blew up. It went huge. I had Hollywood stars. I had J.K. Rowling and the guy who plays the Incredible Hulk, and everyone was coming for me. And when this was like the most controversial I got, and everyone was trying to cancel me. And at the time, I was doing television commentary for the cage fighting here in Romania. And when I went into work to commentate, the owner of the organization called RXF, which is like the Romanian UFC, he had a stack of emails like this
Shit.
Where people had Googled me, found my employment, and emailed him saying I'm a misogynist and I'm fucking encouraging suicide and all these crazy pages and pages. And he sat down there and goes, "What's this?" I was like, "Bro, in the West, this is what they do." And he was laughing out loud. He's Romanian. So he's reading emails going, "These people have no life. What are these people?" I was like, he goes, "What do they want me to do?" I was like, they're hoping you're going to fire me. The whole boardroom was laughing, and they threw the emails away, and we carried on with life because we're not in a society which is held at ransom. I'm lucky to live in a society which is not held ransom by these people. Yeah. But in America, if I had a normal job, it would have been it. You know, it's absolutely crazy now. So, and what happens when you take away a man's speech? If a man's not free to talk, what's a man free to do? That's the first way you demasculinize a man. You tell him to shut up. I say this to people. I'm depressed. I was like, well, life's depressing. You're getting older. You're going to die. You know, there's a whole bunch of people with a bunch more money than you. Welcome to the fucking real world. Life's depressing. Are you a bitch? You're going to cry about it? Or you're going to do something about it? Like, life is depressing. Who told us? Tell me where it says in the human handbook that we're supposed to be happy all of the time.
Right,
we're not supposed to be happy. We're supposed to survive. Now, if you're a man, you can survive even if you're miserable. I say this all the time. Give me depression. You wouldn't even notice. This is what pisses them off because they're like, "Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to function." I guarantee I can still drive my Lambo and fuck women. I guarantee you. Try it. Because I refuse to be such a baby that I'm going to sit there and go, "Well, I feel a certain way, so I have to act a certain way." No. One of the number one tenets of masculinity, in fact, it's probably the primary tenet of masculinity, is acting different to how you feel. This 100%. Is the primary tenet of masculinity. Do you think the men on the Titanic felt like dying? No, but they acted a certain way because they were men. The women and the children are afraid and they're going to run. I'm afraid and I'm going to stay here because I'm a man. As a man, you have to control your emotions. So I don't give a shit if you're depressed. There's no excuse to not be an adult and make sensible decisions based on discipline alone. I'm too depressed to train. No, you lack discipline. Because I've felt miserable. Every single person has. I didn't miss a gym session ever. So I don't believe in that crap. I don't believe in it. And I don't believe in it because I know that the true cure to fixing people is to tell them, here's the example I gave when this whole thing blew up. I said, if I moved into a house and I heard squeaks in the night and I don't believe in ghosts, I'm going to attribute it to the wind and go back to sleep. If I move into the same house and hear the same squeaks, but I'm a big believer in ghosts, I'm going to start being scared. I'm going to call an exorcist. I'm going to say it's a ghost. So my point is, the same situation gets worse based primarily on my beliefs. If you don't believe in depression, you can't be depressed.
Right.
All you can be is, okay, I feel a bit pissed off. Time to get up and go get it. Let's hit the gym, bang, hit the club. I'm going to make some things happen in my life. But if you do believe in depression, the second you feel sad, the first thing you do is sit down and go, this isn't my fault I feel this way. I have a disease and nothing's going to make me better. And you're going to get worse. So this is the whole point. This is what was amazing when I said depression wasn't real. I said, because I was getting attacked by, all the Avatar Anon characters. I'm depressed. You don't understand. My friend killed himself, blah, blah, blah. I was like, listen, if depression is really so horrible, why are you all defending it so fervently? So it's real. It's so powerful. It's real. Why are you defending this horrible thing? Why don't you sit there and go, you know what? You're right, Andrew. Fuck depression. But they want to defend it because it's an identity. It's something that allows them to feign individuality. It's something that allows them to, it's an excuse. It's a ready-made excuse for all of life's failures. I'm a loser, but it's not my fault. But depression. That's all it is. It's a fucking coping mechanism. I don't believe it. I do not believe in depression. I believe if you really feel terrible and someone were to come along and give you $10 million, you'd probably feel a bit better. Also, just to quickly touch on this, because every time I say this, people come at me and think they're smart. And they say, well, what about Robin Williams? He was famous. He killed himself, blah, blah, blah. And I say, yeah. And I'll tell you why he killed himself. He killed himself because of people like you who are telling him depression is real, not people like me.
Right.
When Robin Williams was in therapy for 10 years. If he would have walked into his first therapy session and his therapist said, look, Robin, you're a millionaire, you're famous, you can fuck any woman alive. You coming here is insulting to people with PTSD and genuine conditions, which I believe is different. If you've been through some real shit in a war, fine, you could be depressed. If you're just Joe Schmo and nothing's happened to you, you have no reason to be depressed. I'd say, look, Robin, you've got a fantastic life. You coming here is insulting to people with real issues. Grow up and get the fuck out my office.